Good day, everyone. God bless you. It is another episode. Live with gladness. Remember, it is your personal responsibility. My name is Mrs. Sophia Kiwanu. So, in this episode, we'll be talking on the topic common errors people make in love. Common errors, the mistakes, the faults, the wrong action that people make in love. Genuinely, today's love have become messy, have become regrettable, have become very negatively influenced by reason of errors, mistakes that were seen but was ignored. Love is supposed to be deep, supposed to be intentional, supposed to be caring, supposed to be respectful, supposed to be honorable, supposed to be valued. But today, love have become a difficult atmosphere that have become toxic. Today, a lot of relationships have failed because love have become careless. Many have become careless in their actions, become careless in their habits, become careless even in their choices. That's why it's so important that we note and identify those errors that have affected many. Because when you avoid such common errors, you truly enjoy an atmosphere of true love and genuine atmosphere of sacrifice that brings about maturity and healing. It is the time, it is important we avoid the pain as to go away with the wounds that was being created in this atmosphere. The Bible speaking in Songs of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 7, it says, many water cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it. Many waters cannot quench love. If truly you're in love, if truly you're in relationship, it could be casual, it could be friendship, it could be courtship relation, it could be dating, it could be real marriage relationship. A lot of errors have been made that have affected genuine relationship, relationships that started with a good atmosphere and now ends up in pain. It's important we identify those errors. It can happen to anyone, it can happen at any environment. One major error today is moving too fast, pushing into relationship without understanding each other, without having to understand your partner, without having to understand your friend. You are pushing too fast. It is important we recognize those moments that we need understanding about the nature and the behavior and the attitude of the next person, because a lot of people have pushed in and walked into a relationship that have become very toxic, and now it becomes very difficult to come out. Also, it's important you recognize there are red flags in relationship. Overlooking those red flags has affected many, have brought about broken relationship, broken intimacy. Dealing with brokenness is because we ignored red flags. Red flags are showed in the beginning part of the relationship. Red flags, certain times they show in between relationship, but it was ignored. We didn't look out for it. Also, it's important we also open up to difficult conversation. There are conversations that we need to really deal with, discuss about it. We can also come to the point of say we need help. You don't just keep quiet when there are challenges. You might look for a counselor, you might look for a mentor, you can look for spiritual leaders to assist you. It is a difficult conversation to bring out in relationship, to declare that we need help. Also, difficult conversation is the fact we make mistakes and admit the wrong. We don't accept our mistakes. It is a big error that have built up in a relationship that have affected many, that's supposed to have an atmosphere of love. It has become a toxic atmosphere. It's important we recognize those red flags and discuss about it. Hurting behaviors. Certain time we note the hurting behaviors, but we overlook it. We don't really talk about it. We don't really discuss about it. Feeling neglected, it has affected many. And when you see such red flags, it's important you deal with them, discuss it, bring it up on the table, talk about it. When there is loss of trust, talk about it. When there is envy and secrecy, talk about it. There are red flags. If it is not dealt with, it will affect the ultimate peace and joy in relationship. Also, ignoring communication. Consistency in communication today is a lot of distant partnership, distant relationship. There is no active communication. And when there is no active communication, it affects intimacy, it affects affection, it affects appreciation, it affects approval. Those are the elements of love. Love must be sacrificial. Love must be respected. Love must be accepted. Love must be affirmative. And when those things are not there, it becomes difficult to truly open up to each other. Today, a lot of relationships are in a huge mess. So it's important we pick all those, red flags that have affected many. Neglecting each other's view has affected a lot of relationships. Neglecting each other's, opinion can affect one. Giving more than you receive. Giving more than you receive. A lot of people are just receiving in relation. They just relax. They're not contributors into relation. It will, at the long run, affect each other. That's why it's important you will begin to identify those errors. Yes, today's marriage and relationship that have become a toxic relation did not start as toxic relation. Rather, they ignored those errors, those common mistakes. And that's why it's important as we build relationship, build friendship, build intimacy, let's recognize those common errors. Many are confusing love with lust. That's another error, confusing love with lust. In this environment, in this, season of love, many are confusing love with lust. Be careful you are not in lust. Rather, you should genuinely be in love. Because when you are in love, remember, love suffers long. Love is kind. Love or envieth not, beareth all things. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4 to 7. Love beareth all things. Love is kind. Love is, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. That's why it's important to recognize that our relationship, love is very deep. Love must be intentional with commitment. You must learn to love by caring, love by giving, love by sacrificing, love by sharing, love by building intimacy, bond that can stand over time. Another error many do is setting boundaries without respect. Setting boundaries, setting space, setting time, setting emotion boundaries, setting value boundaries without understanding each other's level of understanding. Fear of being alone has affected many that begin to stay fixing ourselves into relationship and we are not comfortable. It is that fear of being alone. It is an error. It is important to recognize some of these errors that have brought about toxic relationship. Forgetting self-love. Are you still in your personal love? Are you still in self-love? Even in that relationship is important. Trying to change your partner, trying to change partners, that is the biggest error. You can't truly change an individual. Accepting individuals is important. Try to accept each other's personality. Acceptance is part of love element. Approval is part of love element. That makes us to live in maturity, not accepting correction. Yes, keeping and making mistakes over time. You are being corrected, you are not taking note of those corrections. It has become an error even in our time. It is important to understand those red flags and become very careful not to ignore such red flag. It's important we live on active communication. Remembering a friend of ours, this was a very short relationship of 2 years, but the guy was very dependent and supporting all the financial needs, but the lady needed just affection. He needed words, he needed gifts, he needed a presence, he needed intimacy, he needed time out together, and that barrier affected that relationship, and the relationship failed because of a lack of communication. They did not express themselves with the understanding of each other's love language. And that's why it's important. We need to listen to each other. We need to be present with each other. We need to honestly pay attention to those conversations. I feeling neglected has affected a whole lot of relations. But it's important we learn to share. We learn to open up, because mistakes today in that sweet relationship will certainly lead to broken relationship. And today it's important we take note of all those errors that have affected many, whether they're casual relationship, dating relationship, courtship relationship, marriage relationship. We must learn to avoid the errors so that you can truly enjoy the maturity, the beauty, the glory, the purpose of relationship, the peace, the atmosphere that is needed for us to build up in this relation. The errors can turn that sweet relation into pain. That error, if not dealt with, can turn that toxic, loving relationship to become a toxic environment that has affected many today. Instead of living an atmosphere of joy, living in an atmosphere of peace, than living in a painful atmosphere that limits their productivity, limits understanding, limit ultimately your peace. It's important we move not too fast, but live with understanding with each other. Don't allow distant relations. It can create barrier in communication. Don't reject correction. Learn to get feedback from each other. Learn to pay attention to those difficult conversations so that you'll be able to enjoy the reality of genuine love, even in our relationship. And I encourage us to recognize those errors. Don't allow them to build up, because over time, when it is allowed to build up, you begin to see toxicity even in relationship. And I encourage us, as we build up day after day, let our love life be developed. Let us not allow wounds. Let's not allow pain. Let's not allow difficult moments to build up over time. Be an active member in that relationship. Not just be an acceptant member, only receiving, but rather learn to give. Learn to share, learn to respect, show affection, express your love, make right choices, behaviors, habits, all of those things need to be taken into consideration. And immediately you notice any red flag, please and please, it's important to talk about it. Don't keep quiet to red flag. Remember to live with gladness. It is your personal responsibility. Learn to share, care, and also comment, and also call for counseling. God bless you and have a beautiful day.